22 individuals were detained by ICE. These weren't just guys with a suspended license. These were individuals who, according to law enforcement, were in the country illegally and caught operating commercial vehicles. You've seen them, the guys running under someone else's authority, the guys who can barely speak English, let alone read a road sign, the guys whose trucks look like they're held together with duct tape and a prayer. Well, if you thought the government was ignoring that part of the problem, you need to see what just happened in Alabama. This operation in Alabama proves that the tide is turning. I believe this is just the beginning. The political pressure is mounting. Governors in red states and even some blue states are realizing that they can't ignore the connection between illegal immigration, human trafficking, drug smuggling, and the trucking industry. For the past 2 months, I've been telling you that the trucking industry is in the middle of a massive reset. I've told you that the Wild West days of cutting corners, running illegal, and undercutting honest drivers are coming to an end. I've talked about the FMCSA cracking down on CDL mills. I've talked about them revoking ELDs. But some of you have asked, what about the immigration piece? What about the drivers who aren't even supposed to be in the country, let alone behind the wheel of an 80,000-pound rig? Well, if you thought the government was ignoring that part of the problem, you need to see what just happened in Alabama. In a massive multi-agency operation, Alabama law enforcement, they teamed up with ICE to inspect commercial vehicles across the state. The results are absolutely staggering. They didn't just find a few bad breaks or some logbook violations. They found 82 individuals who were handed straight over to immigration and customs enforcement. 82 in one state and one operation. Now in this video, I'm breaking down the numbers from this Alabama crackdown, what it means for the future of enforcement nationwide, and why this is the clearest sign yet that the cheap labor loophole in trucking is finally being closed. So welcome back to the channel. I'm Marcellus with Trucking with MBR. And if you're a professional driver who has been doing things the right way, paying for your CDL training, keeping your logs legal, maintaining your equipment, you know, the frustration of competing against guys who don't play the same rules. You've seen them, the guys running under someone else's authority, the guys who can barely speak English, let alone read a road sign, the guys whose trucks look like they're held together with duct tape and a prayer. For a long time, it felt like nobody cared. It felt like the government was happy to look the other way as long as the freight got moved cheaply. But this operation in Alabama proves that the tide is turning. Let's look at the scope of what they did. This wasn't a random roadside check. This was a coordinated effort by the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, ALEA, the Alabama Department of Transportation, ALDOT, and federal ICE agents. Their goal was simple: ensure safety and enforce the law, all laws. Here are the numbers they reported. They conducted 1,333 inspections. From those inspections, they discovered 3,675 violations. That's an average of almost 3 violations per truck. They placed 416 drivers out of service. Think about that. Out of 1,300 drivers, nearly a third of them were not legal to be on the road at the moment. And they placed 375 vehicles out of service for critical safety defects. Those numbers alone are terrifying. It shows you the absolute state of non-compliance that is out there right now. But the number that is making headlines and the number that should make every cheap freight broker sweat is 82. 82 individuals were detained by ICE. These weren't just guys with a suspended license. These were individuals who, according to law enforcement, were in the country illegally and caught operating commercial vehicles. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey didn't mince words about this operation. She said, quote, "We are a country of laws, and in Alabama, we will enforce them. This operation is just one part of our ongoing efforts to protect our citizens and our resources from the impact of illegal immigration." She went on to say that this isn't just about immigration, it's about public safety. And that is the key point that I want to hammer home. When you have a driver who is in this country illegally, they are vulnerable, they are desperate, they will work for pennies on a dollar just to stay under the radar. They are the ones who will run double brokered loads with no questions asked. They're the ones who will drive 20 hours a day on a fake logbook. They're the ones who won't fix their brakes because they can't afford it and they are afraid to go into a shop. This isn't just an immigration issue, it's a safety issue. It's an economic issue for every honest driver in this country. Every time one of these illegal operations is shut down, that's freight that has to go back into the legitimate market. That's capacity that is removed from the road. We talked in the last video about Morgan Stanley predicting a supply side spark that will raise rates. Well, what do you think happens to supply when you have operations like this happening all across the country? If Alabama found 82 in one swoop, how many are in Texas? How many are in California? How many are in Florida? I believe this is just the beginning. The political pressure is mounting. Governors in red states and even some blue states are realizing that they can't ignore the connection between illegal immigration, human trafficking, drug smuggling, and the trucking industry. The Wild West is being tamed. The sheriff is finally in town. And for those of you who've been able to survive this freight recession by doing things the right way, this is your vindication. The playing field is finally starting to level out. The cleanup is messy. It's going to be painful for a lot of people, but it's an absolute necessary if we want a trucking industry that is safe, professional, and profitable for American drivers. So if you're one of the professionals who is ready to take advantage of this reset, you need to position yourself now. The drivers who are going to win are the ones who are compliant, professional, and ready to do business directly with shippers who value that professionalism. If you're looking to get into the final mile game and secure dedicated contracts, I put together a resource just for you. Grab my final mile contract plug pack. The link is right down there in the description. It's got the contacts you need to start building those direct relationships. I want to know your thoughts on this. Are you surprised by the numbers out of Alabama? Do you think we'll see more of these joint operations with ICE in other states? Let me know in the comments below because I read all of them. And this is the conversation we need to have. Now, if you found this video informative, once again, drop a comment below, smash that like button, and share this video with another driver who needs to see what's really happening out here. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update on the trucking reset. Also, check out the next video on the screen where I talk about how 80% of trucking companies fail in the first year because of bad business decisions and how you can avoid those bad decisions. I'll see you on the next video.